Visual Traffic Recorded Online Training, Accounts Receivable Session 2. In this session, we'll cover the projection versus actual report, missing copy, how to do a data backup, how to accept logs, pre-print reports, how to correct order errors, and the print wizard, projection versus actual. The first step that you need to take when doing your monthly billing is to go to the Logs category in Report Center and run your projection versus actual report. This report compares what was scheduled to run and bill versus what actually did run and bill. So we're going to open the report. Your dates would be the date of the billing cycle, and I typically use the calendar month cycle even if I do have some media month clients. If you have more than one station in a statement group, go ahead and group by station and then use a page break. If you have more than one statement group and you're not doing billing for both statement groups at the same time, go ahead and filter by your statement group. And then on your options screen, the first time we run this, we're going to run this in a full report style, advertiser only, including multi-day spread orders and package orders, but do not show bumped and deleted. We'll go ahead and preview. As you look at this report, you will see the station call letters, the name of the advertiser, the number of units ordered, and the amount of money on those units versus what's scheduled and the amount of money on the scheduled units, and then any differences. You'll see on this station, everything came out perfectly. Let's go on to the next page. And as we look at this page, Baldwin Home Center, 251 spots versus 253 spots. So there were more spots that ran than were ordered. We also have another issue with Online Class Advertiser, 228 spots and 228 spots, 2904 versus 2929.75. What we'll need to do is actually run this report again with discrepancies only. Close this version of it, go back to projection versus actual. Everything stays the same except for your options. On your options tab, you're going to change this from full to discrepancies only. You're going to change it from advertiser to date detail. And then yes, you want to show bumped and deleted. Preview. When we look at this report, we're looking at Baldwin Home Center. You will see that on the second and the third, we ran one extra spot. There's a difference of one. They aren't in the bumped, they're not in the deleted. It's just a total difference of two. One for each day. What you would need to do is go back to these days on your logs and bump one of those spots on each day. Let's look at Domino's. It didn't show up as being different, and it's not different because your totals do match. But there were 9 spots ordered on the 6th and 10 ran, and 9 spots ordered on the 8th, but only 8 ran. So it was over 1 and under 1, thus equaling out. Now we come to Online Advertiser. This was the one where the number of spots were correct, but the totals were different. So this is order number 112-04. 108 spots ordered, 108 spots ran, total of 756 and 781.75. Notice that all of these spots are a whole dollar amount, and if you look in the ran column, they are dollars and cents for the most part. To look at this order, I would actually go into VT and create edit orders and go to this order. The first thing I notice is this is a fixed rate order. When I open it up, if I view the calendar for June, notice that billing total is $756 and your income total is $781.75. What's happening is the ordered totals come from the billing, the fixed rate of $7. The scheduled line comes from the spot rate that you're using internally. The rate on each spot pattern was not a fixed rate of $7, but it was broken out into several different rates. That is why the difference here. The numbers are correct as they stand. Missing copy. The next thing that we need to do in order to get ready for billing, let's go back into Visual Traffic and go to Logs, Log Maintenance, and come down to Log Options. You are going to run reports from the first of the month to the last day of the calendar month. You want to rotate copy and assign carts and print your copy missing showing spot detail. And I'm going to do it for both stations. I held down my control key when I selected that. We do this so that copy missing will be corrected before we print our billing. If you have decided to show copy name on invoices, you don't want it to say unassigned. Click yes and OK and let it process. When the report prints out and says no data to report, then you are ready to continue. Data backup. The next step is accepting your logs. Before we accept our logs, though, let's make a backup of the VT data. We'll go to System, Backup Database. As we look at this, the files that you see here, the files in the folders, are those that are on the server. I have made a folder called VT Month End, and inside that folder I have folders for each month of the year. We're working in June, so I'm going to click on June and then I'm going to rename my backup file name. I've named it the statement group, the month and the year, and then preaccept.bak, so that when I look at this file I will know when the backup is from. Click Next. Accept logs. Once your backup is complete, click OK, then go to Billing, Accept Logs. In the Accept Log screen, make sure you select your correct statement group. If you have more than one station in a statement group, all stations must be ready to bill. You want to change the date that you wish to accept logs through to be the last day of the billing period. So this is going to accept logs through June 30th. You could optionally clear expired carts and print expired copy, but I prefer not to do this during billing time, but to do it later on during the month. Click OK. A warning pops up that if you have not verified your copy assignment for logs being accepted, any missing copy will have to be evaluated and adjusted on the invoice if you choose to continue. This is why we print our copy missing report before we accept our logs, so that this won't be a problem. Say yes. This process is going to take the formats for the logs and remove them from the system for those dates, and the spots that are on those logs are going to be transferred to the invoices. Are you sure you wish to continue? Yes. Once you click Yes, an Accept Logs message has been successfully sent to the Visual Traffic System Processor. We're going to go to the System Monitor to verify that it is processing. So you'll go to System, System Monitor, where you will see Accept Logs is in progress. We do not want to move any further until this has completed. Once this message has cleared the System Processor queue, it's time to print some pre-print reports. Pre-print reports. We're going to go to the month-end report category, and we're going to go to the pre-commit invoice report. I'm going to choose the dates to be the calendar month for which I am billing. I am going to group it by station, AR account name, the receivables group, income account, and advertiser. I'm doing a page break on each station. Under my filters, I can filter on my statement group. Go ahead and update this. And then on options, I could have summary pages if I wished, such as station or salesperson, income account, etc. For now, we're just going to preview. The reason we run this report is to make sure that everything is coded correctly before we print our billing. I'm going to go to the group tree and turn it on, and then click the plus to expand it. They only see AR Cash Demo WB. Click the plus under AR Cash. You will see I have unassigned, local agency, and local direct. Here's our station, our AR account name, our receivables group, and then when you click one more time, your income account. Correcting order errors. When I see unassigned in the receivables group, that means there is an error on that order. It needs to be corrected before we do billing. To do that, open VT Backup, go to Orders, Create Edit Orders, and pull up the client. The order number is the invoice number, and you will see that it's 58-00005. Change this and edit. This is where it says Receivables Group None. Select the receivables group that you need to use and click OK. Because we have not printed our invoices yet, updating the order also updates the invoice, so that when I run this report again, this will be correct. The unassigned income is because I have sales tax on this station. Let's run the report again. Options will stay the same as last time in preview. This time, as we look at the report and the group tree and click the plus again, you will see that under AR Demo WB we have local agency and local direct. Underneath these we would see unassigned, which should be your sales tax. If you click on unassigned here, it will take you to the point in the report where the unassigned is. Scroll across the screen and you will see that yes, the money is in the column sales tax. Scroll back, look at local direct, and the same thing with local direct. As you look at these reports, make sure that the clients that are listed under agency are indeed agencies, and the clients that are listed under local direct are indeed local directs. Now let's look at the next station where we have cash and trade, and once again we have an unassigned receivables group. So we'll go to Sykes Feed and Seed and fix that. Fix the order, say OK, close, and then we can run the report again. You do not have to run this report after every fix, but when you're first starting out to do your billing, I find that it's easier to run it after every fix you make so that you can go on to the next one. Back to the group tree, we already know that Demo WB was fine, so we'll go back to TRN1. Under AR Cash, we have Local Agency, Local Direct, National, and Regional. Under Local Agency, click the Unassigned, and there is your sales tax and sales tax again. Notice also, however, that there is money under gross billing. This is because this is a package order. Package orders use package billing, and billing does not equal income in this case. Billing is on the package buy of the order, and there is no income on a package buy. By that I mean the income is actually on the spot rate, and that will show under a different location. So as long as you know these are either tax or a package billing, continue on. Here are my agencies. The agency discount will show in the net income and agency discount column. And then you come to local agency. When we look at local agency, you will see there is gross income, net income, and gross billing on clients that are not a package. If they have package billing, they will have nothing under the gross billing. Rather, it'll be under gross income and net income. This client has 3 invoices. Why does it have 3 invoices? It is a co-op advertiser, and there are 3 different vendors for co-op reimbursement. Continue clicking on these and make sure they are correct. There is a local agency sitting under national. We need to double check that order and check the coding on it. Once again, open up VT, orders, create edit orders. Moving this so I can see which invoice it is. Number 14. It says national on the front page, national here, and then in spot patterns it says national as well. After checking the spot patterns and you don't see it, then you make sure that you don't have any non-spot billing. I do have non-spot billing, so I'm going to click it. My income account on the non-spot was local agency. We need to switch this to national and save it, close, and OK, and it will update the invoice. While it's doing that, let's just continue through this. That's correct. And then under trade, you should only have trade, and then Domino's is a package as well. And the unassigns are for the sales tax. Close it and run it one last time to make sure everything is correct now. Using the group tree, we're checking the FM, and all of that has been corrected. The other item you need to look at after turning off the group tree is at the end of the report. We need to make sure that your numbers match if you are not doing package billing or fixed rate billing. If you're doing package billing and fixed rate, your numbers may not match. But if the only thing you are doing is per spot billing, you need to make sure that your gross income and your gross billing match, and then your net income plus sales tax should equal your net billing. But in my situation, I'm using packages and fixed rate, so my totals will not match. This is the final report. I would suggest printing it and also saving an electronic copy. I'm going to export the report, and I'm going to export it to my month-end folder. We'll go to June, and I'm going to go to month-end reports. I will name this report FM June 2011 pre-commit, and I will make the type to save it as a PDF. You will see there were all sorts of other reports in here from previous years. Click Save, wait for it to finish exporting, and OK. One other way you might wish to run this report would be to run it for your commission structures. So you could say salesperson, station, sales commission. If you put a page break on each salesperson, you can copy this report and put it in with their pay stub. We're leaving our filters the same, and once again, no options. Preview. While we're waiting for this report to run, remember that you can save these reports as a favorite once you have set them up the way you like to run them. If we were to go to My Favorites tab and look in my month-end reports, you'll see here is my projection versus actual, my pre-commit invoice for receivables group income, and my pre-commit invoice report for commission. I put a number in front of them so I would know what order to run them in. Looking at this pre-commit invoice report, we'll go to the group tree. Under Gwen, we have Demo WB, and we need to make sure that the collections are correct. Here's my commission structure. In my case, it's set up by station, so this is correct. You simply go down through the pluses and make sure they are all correct. You will see on the bottom under Salesperson House and Bill Price, I have 2 things of no commission. That means the orders that were under this should receive no commission. There's a trade order and then a house order. Rather than leave my commission set at none, I created a new one called No Commission so there wouldn't be any confusion when it came time for billing. The next report to run is also found in the month-end category in Report Center, and it is your cash receipts master list. We're going to set our dates for the entire calendar month. I'm going to group by date of deposit. I'm filtering on my bank account that I want to pull this for. And under my options, I'm going to say all receipts and then preview. When we look at this report, we're seeing the deposit date, the advertiser's or agency name, the receipt date, the check number, and then the check amount. So this shows you your total deposits for each date. If you see the A in parentheses, that means that was an agency payment. You'll notice here that we have a reversal, so Precision Glass is listed twice. This again is a report that I would print and save a copy of. I run this a second time, switching my Options tab to Undistributed Only. This is to pick up any payments that were entered but were not applied on the statement level. If you have payments that were not applied on the statement level, your cash receipts master list will not match your cash amounts in your aging because it doesn't know where to go. You will see that we have no data to report here, so we applied all of our payments. You could also print out a cash receipts application analysis. The application analysis will show you where the payments were applied to. So I'm going to change my dates. My grouping is by date of deposit, AR offset account, and advertiser. My filters, update our statement group. And options, I'm going to run it full detail for everything. I want to include my salesperson totals report, and I want a summary page of my date of deposit. Let me go ahead and preview. As we look at the cash receipts application analysis, you'll see the deposit date, the AR account, the name of the advertiser, the name of the bank account, the check number, and the total amount of the check. Once you see the total amount of the check, you'll see where it was applied to. So it was applied to an invoice for January, February, and March, and an adjustment for February. The total amount applied should match your total check amount. If we look at the last two pages, here's your salesperson total per statement group and your data deposit summaries. Print this and/or save this. Notice I'm just putting the station and the month and the year in front of the report name. OK and exit. The next report you need to run is your unapplied credits report. You need to run this report so that you will see which items have an outstanding credit that could be applied. So we'll go to Accounting and Unapplied Credits Report. Set your date to be the end of the calendar month or the end of the billing cycle for which you are billing. You'll see that under grouping you've got default salesperson or statement group, so there's really no need to do grouping. Under filters, make sure you have the correct statement group selected if you are doing more than one statement group. Go to Options, I want a detailed report, and Preview. The Blossom Shop has a credit in the amount of $3,850. We can't do anything to that. David's House of Horror does have a 123 credit deposit and some outstanding invoices. Same with Hair Expo and Little Caesars. So these are items that we can go ahead and fix. So let's go to Papa Joe's Barbecue first of all. Go to VT, AR, View Edit Statements, and Advertiser. I'm going to go to Papa Joe's, and let's switch it to this. I'm going to edit this item and apply it to the 11-2 invoice. That leaves a remainder of $320.26 needing to be paid off. I'm going to distribute $320.26 to that invoice. It is now a zero balance. Continue doing this for each client. This way, when you close your month out, these items will clear to history. We'll edit this one more time and apply it to the last open invoice. You would continue doing this until all of the clients on this list had been cleared up. Go ahead and close this report unless you need to print it and save a copy. We'll close the statements. Print Wizard. Now we're ready to print the invoice except for one thing. We need to make another backup, and the reason we do this again is because we've now made changes to the data. If something were to happen and we needed to restore a backup, we want it to be as of the state we are ready to print. So this will be FM June 2011 preprint.bak. Click OK when the backup is completed successfully and return to the billing menu. We'll go to Billing and go to Print Wizard. VT has the ability to print statements, invoices, and co-op script all together. So all of Ace Hardware's information will print together, all of Papa Joe's barbecuing will print together. You won't have to sort 3 different piles. So at this point, I want to do current invoices and statements, invoices, script, and statements. I'm going to do all frequencies, so I can double click in the date field to pull up my calendar. My end of month for June for medium month, weekly, and end of schedule is 6/26. The only one that is different at the end of the month when you are doing billing is your calendar. Make that the end of the calendar date. Your EOS end of schedule must be set to the medium month if you are trying to match projections. Next, do you want to do all advertisers, agency only, or non-agency only? We're going to do all advertisers. Select the statement group you wish to print, and then choose the AR accounts you're going to print. If you wish to print just your cash AR accounts first, you can say none and then select just the AR cash, or you can print everything together. Once you've chosen your AR accounts, click Next. This invoice information screen will only show if you've chosen to print invoices. You can choose to use a return address only, letterhead, or a logo. If you're going to use a logo, you can use the statement group logo or a specific logo, but remember the logo will take the place of the return address on your invoice. When we're printing our invoices, we're going to set them official. We do not need to reprint any invoices that were already marked as printed because none of them have been printed yet for this month. If we needed to print another batch for ourselves when we're done, we may do so, and then you could mark it as a duplicate. Do you wish your log events to show on your invoices? I typically say no. And then I tell it to print the number of copies for invoices as specified by each order. You can do that, or you can force all invoices to X number of copies. Under address selection, primary document group, I have invoice. My second billing recipient, if I'm using one, is the second billing recipient document group. Next. Once again, script information only prints out if you've chosen to print script. And at this point, I'm printing co-op script only, and I want 1 copy of the script to print out per invoice. If I chose to print 2 copies of an invoice on the previous page, I would still say only print 1 copy of the script per invoice here. If I said 2, I'd end up with 4 copies of the script. Next, statement information only shows if you've chosen to print statements. Once again, I'm doing my return address only. You could choose to include remittance slip. That's just a different style of printing for the statement. And you can also include your default salesperson name. If you have more than 1 salesperson dealing with a client, I would not suggest including the default salesperson name. When you print your statements, how many copies do you want to print? Do you want to suppress zero balance statements? Zero balance statements in this case are going to be those clients that had a balance coming into the month. They've since either paid it off, or it's been written off or credited off, and now they have a balance of 0. Do you want to print those? I say print these so we can send them to the clients and they'll see that their payment was received. I do want to combine multiple AR accounts. I do want to include official invoices because that will be my June billing, and I am excluding transaction notes. If I needed to print consolidated statements for the agency so the agency could see all of their clients on one statement, I would check the box, print consolidated statement for agency, and then I would put in the media month date, such as this. But I'm not going to print consolidated, so I'll uncheck that. My primary document group is statement. I'm not sending copies of the statements to the second billing recipient. Go ahead and say Next. How do you want these collated? We group them by statement group first, and then do you want it grouped by advertiser, default rep, default receivables group, or agency, in which your direct clients would print first and then all of your agencies would print together. If on the previous page you chose consolidated statement printing for agencies, you would have to say agency, non-agency first. And do you wish to print invoices requiring a notary separately? I like to say yes to this so I can get them being signed as the rest of the information is being printed. So it's going to group by statement group, advertiser, then it's going to print the statement, the invoice, and any script. We'll go ahead and finish this. And here's a list of all the invoices that are going to print as well as statements. You'll see on the right hand side 58 advertisers, 52 statements, 73 invoices. The net value is $206,531.17. I can save these settings so that I can use the same settings next time. The only thing I'd have to do is change the date, so I can click Save Settings, give it a name, and save it. The next thing you need to do is click Start Printing. When you click that, a box comes up asking you if you wish to begin printing with the first item in the list. For your first run, you're probably going to say yes, and it will begin to process. But what if you don't want to start with that first one on the list? What if you need to restart from a point because your toner ran out on your printer? We can say no. It opens up the batch print processor, and you need to decide what invoice you want to print first. So maybe it stopped at Little Caesars. So Little Caesars would be the first one, and then the last one would be our regular Wholesale Mattress Center. However, I could also do just a range and put RBC Bank as the ending statement and invoice to print. Or I can say print all, and it will print everything. Click OK. The first thing it does is set your invoices official. It needs to touch every invoice and set it official before it begins printing. Remember that it is printing the invoices that require a notary signature. Prints those first, and then it will begin to go to the regular clients with their statements, invoices, and script. As they print, they will list off in the bottom of your screen, and the progress bar will show your progress. Once these have printed, go ahead and review them, sign them as necessary, and put them in the mail. To review what we've covered in Accounts Receivable Lesson 2, we learned about the projection versus actual report, what it is, and how to read it. We checked for missing copies so that our invoices will not show any unassigned copy. We learned how to do a data backup, how to accept our logs, what that process means, and how to make sure that that process has completed. The preprint reports that we need to pull, including pre-commit invoice report, cash receipts master list, unapplied credits report, the AR adjustment list. We also showed you how to correct order errors based on the errors we found when printing our reports. And then we walked you through the invoice and statement print wizard. From all of us at Marketron, thank you for viewing.